Hello everyone, DonTheCrown, and today I want to do a little video to go along with one of the characters that I think doesn't really get enough attention, especially here in the West, and that is Moto 2. And this could be kind of a Moto 2 campaign kind of build run for you. And this thing is incredibly fast. I actually did a 90-minute whole campaign, and yeah, that's pretty nuts, especially for like a, build that is typically considered to be pretty weak. For understand, this guy does pretty well all the way up through time mark 8. He kind of struggles getting into profound, but I think that that's kind of quite a lot of builds these days. And to kind of give you an idea of what this looked like, here's a little clip from yesterday of kind of like running through just a zone. And pretty much how it works is our hero trait causes our minions to explode, and those minions like will immediately go and track down enemies. So I'm not even like really having to press any buttons besides having to activate my hero trait. And then the minions that you're working with, Grim Phantoms, just auto summon themselves when they're not alive. And so they just auto summon themselves, and insta murder thing is near them, and they explode for quite a bit of damage. And the really nice thing here is that we get quite a bit of movement speed due to the fact that we can run like 3 different shadow dashes. In the guide, I'm only going to recommend 2, just because like a little bit harder difficulty maybe to run 3. But with 2 shadow dashes, you have a lot of maneuverability, and there's some pretty good movement skill tech with that. Kind of talk about that real quick. This is the written guide. I'll put a link to this as well. This probably maybe will get some updates. Most of our gear is going to be coming off of the ground, with like only like the rock lizard skull and the cryo divinity coming out of troves, and you can like see where those are. But pretty much all you have to do is just spam your hero trait F button, and these Grim Phantoms will pop up and just absolutely just explode enemies for you. The movement skill tech that I was talking about here is pretty much this part. If you have 2 movement skills on your bar, like Shadow Dash here, that have more than 1 charge, if you go and you dash, each one will consume a charge. And so if I only had 2 charges, for example, that would mean that I could dash twice, and then they would recharge 2 at the same time. Whereas if I only had 1 movement skill and I dash twice, I need to wait for 2 charges to tick up. And this is very powerful. Now, the real powerful thing is I can dash a whole bunch of times, and as long as I don't consume the last charge, it will not screw up the other one. If I consume all of the charges, it will set the other one off cooldown as well. So you want to avoid doing that. You always want to leave 1 charge in the tank, and that's pretty much what we talk about here in the movement skill tech section. The hero trait, like I said before, pretty much causes your minions to explode. Do this thing called self-destruct protocol. This is a pretty powerful skill. It just causes enemies basically to explode with your minions. And your minions are just going to be constantly blowing up. You don't really need to worry about micromanaging them because they will summon themselves back up. The passive trees we're using are God of Machines, Machinist, and then Shadow Dancer. Shadow Dancer gives us brutality, which gives us 30% additional physical damage, and we don't even really need to worry about the negative part on this. There's a negative with brutality that has less elemental damage, but that doesn't affect our minions, so we kind of don't care. Now, in the overrealm, you're probably going to find these like door things. You're just going to interact with them a little bit. I wouldn't probably recommend going down into the overrealm during the campaign. Maybe try it out 1 time, but if the portal opens up, it's probably going to take quite a bit of time to go and do that stuff. And so unless the rewards are absolutely insane, it's probably just a distraction from completing the campaign, which always does kind of suck. I don't really like mechanics like that in the campaign. I'm not really going to go by all of the step-by-step stuff here. Pretty much you're just going to level up starting off the bat with Summon Machine Guard. It is going to feel kind of a little bit slow until you get to level 7. Once you get to level 7, you're going to switch out of Machine Guard and you're going to switch into Summon Grim Phantom. And Grim Phantoms just do a ton more damage. They're going to auto summon themselves. All the other summon guys you need to summon at the start of the zone. And the really cool thing is while they're just floating around, if they're not exploding, if you press right click to summon them again, they will like teleport to wherever you clicked, and they will just do a huge blast on whatever is there. So until you get the explosion stuff, is a pretty good way of clearing out huge packs of enemies. and that like has a gigantic multiplier. I believe it is this one here. So it's 207 base damage. It's a lot of damage, especially early on. It's like a huge blast of damage. And then you're pretty much just going to work through. The only treasure troves you really need to worry about, I believe, are treasure trove number 3, where you're looking for the Desire of Survival. And then I believe in treasure trove 4, you can pick up Interlocking Soul, which does give you some minion damage. I don't really think that this thing is mandatory to get. It is kind of annoying because it's hammers and kind of forces you to get off of rods. And so, you know, this might not even be something you want to farm up. And treasure trove 5, you're pretty much going to finish up and you're going to get the second trait, which pretty much causes it so that when your minions die, sometimes they're going to leave a little buff behind, but you automatically pick it up if you're near it. In the last treasure trove, you pick up Cryo Divinity, which just helps give you command per second. And command is kind of this buff that we're going to have up here, which gives you minion damage and tracking area. We get some of this from our passive tree over here, picking up some of this. But it's not something you necessarily need to worry about. This is something like maybe more towards the middle and end game that you're really going to start gearing up towards. But during the campaign, I really wouldn't worry about this too much. Hopefully this video kind of helped you out a little bit. If you watched my tier list video, you'll know that this is one of the most popular characters in Asia for, you know, clearing Supreme Showdown 20 and for playing early on. It was like number 5 most popular character in Asia on day 2. Which I thought was pretty crazy, especially because everybody always tells me that this character is trash when it seems to actually do really, really well in other regions. Hope this video helped you out. We'll see you soon and come by the stream.